HCAM programming is supported by viewers like you and by Western Nurseries. Since 1923, Western Nurseries has been rooted in a passion for plants and community. The family business has grown from its beginnings in Weston to become a trusted name across Massachusetts. Western Nurseries offers one of the area's best selections of hardy landscape-sized plants, quality gardening and hardscape products, and expert advice you can trust. With locations throughout the region and over a century of experience, Western Nursery continues to help communities grow beautifully.
Welcome to Hopkinton High School. This is Hopkinton Hillers versus the Holliston Panthers. Second dual meet of the year for both teams. April 7th, 2026. And this is heat one of the girls 400-meter hurdles. That was Walker, Oliviera, Bransfield, Cornwell, and Hopkins. And that was, we'll get some results up for you here in a second. But Holliston and Hopkinton, usually two powerhouses in the TVL in track and field for the last 10 years. Hopkinton, the slightly larger school, they compete in the Division I and Division II in the larger divisions, and Holliston is a Division IV school, but they do go head-to-head fairly well. And next up is Heat 2 of the girls 400-meter hurdles. This is an all Hopkinton heat with Mary Finnegan, Catherine Kelly, Madeline Midkiff, and Regan Osich. A little breezy, it was just snowing earlier, rained a little bit ago. It's classic spring weather here in Massachusetts. But now, of course, the sun has come out. It's still low 40s, 43 degrees, pretty breezy for the runners on the track, but much nicer than what we saw earlier today, obviously, than snow and rain. You don't want that in 43 degrees, so. Here in Heat 2, that's Mary Finnegan. Her PB is 1:14.61. And she's got a good full hurdle over the second, third, and fourth Hopkinton runners. In lane 3, that's Catherine Kelly in second. And then Midkiff and Osich. And that's Finnegan taking Heat 2 of the girls 400-meter hurdles.
All hurdles up two. Up two. All right, hey, can I have all you distance guys over here? You ready to bring this? No.
Next up will be the boys 400-meter hurdles. We'll have two heats of that as well, as they put the hurdles to the boys' height. Our girls' winner was Clara Bansfield from Hopkinton. She ran 69.90 for the win. Second place from Hopkinton as well, Isabel Walker, 1:14.83. And in third place from Holliston, Isabella Oliviera, 1:15.70. So those are your three scorers in the girls' 400-meter hurdles. Like I said, next up the boys. This will be Heat 1 of 2. And the gun is up. And here's heat one of the boys 400-meter hurdles. From the inside out here, we've got Logan from Hopkinton, Ross from Holliston, Zach McNally from Hopkinton, Soulful from Holliston, and Cafozo from Hopkinton. This should be a close one here. Zach McNally from Hopkinton, he ran 62.51. He's in lane 4.
Zach McNally and Matt Logan in a battle, 200 meters.
And Logan there in lane 2 on the inside. So Logan and Zach McNally there, 1 and 2. So neck and neck there, Logan and Zach McNally. Zach McNally's in 4. So further on the outside, it looks like Zach McNally is going to take heat 1. Unofficially, there's 61. I'm just looking at the clock. We'll give the official result here in a second. But Zach McNally from Hopkinton. Again, his best coming in was 62.21. Matthew Logan was 63.80.
Boys and girls, 100 meter. Please report to the 100 start. Boys and girls, 100 meter. Please report to the 100 start.
And here we go, heat 2 of the boys 400-meter hurdles. Again, another all Hopkinton heat here with Daniel Jacob, Lucas Reed, Max Keeler, Braden Liu, David Lewandowski, and Henry Pappenfort. And as you can tell, we've had a few scratches here. We had 6 on the start list, and now we have 3 in this one. Lane 4, that's Braden Liu, your leader. And then in 3, that's Max Keeler. And in 2, that's Lucas Reed. So Braden Liu takes heat 2.
All hurdles off the track to the 100 start. All hurdles off the track to the 100.
And next up will be the girls 100 meters. We'll have 8 heats of the girls 100 before we move on to the boys.
Girls 100.
Again, breezy afternoon here in Hopkinton High. We'll see if it favors the 100-meter runners, or if they've had to run into a into the wind at their face here.
Girls 100 meter. Girls 100 meter.
Heat 1's going to have in lane 1, Patori from Holliston. Lane 2, Jeremiah from Hopkinton. Lane 3, Mancuso from Holliston. Lane 4, Owens from Hopkinton. Lane 5, Starr from Holliston. And lane 6, Addie Morrison from Hopkinton. Watch Owens in 4 here. Owens has a season best of 13:23 and a PB of 13:03. Mancuso in 3 has run 13:53. Last season that was her best. This year she already ran 13:57. So watch Owens and Mancuso they're in 4 and 3 respectively. And again, we've got 8 heats of the girls 100. They're still getting set down there in the blocks. Still getting them set at the start line. And looks like they're down in the blocks now. Gun is up. Again, from the inside out, Patori, Jeremiah, Mancuso, Owens, Starr, and Morrissey. And there's the gun. In the inside there, that's Kaylee Owens, and then Mancuso. Owens from Hopkinton in 4th, and then Mancuso in 2nd in 3. Those were our 2 favorites, and they held up. Next up will be Heat 2 in the girls 100. We'll have Arsenal from Holliston, Kelly from Hopkinton, Utka from Holliston, Woodbury from Hopkinton, Tobias from Holliston, and Tinarello from Hopkinton. Again, this is Heat 2. There's the gun. Isabella Utke in the middle there in lane 3 from Holliston. And she will take Heat 2 in the girls 100. Next up is Heat 3. We have Yang from Holliston, Owen from Hopkinton, Bergman from Holliston, Sweeney from Hopkinton, Peterson from Holliston, and Fesendola from Hopkinton. And results are final in the boys 400. That was Zach McNally from Hopkinton, the winner, 61-34. Matt Logan from Hopkinton got second, 101.90. And in third place from Hopkinton, Brandon Liu, 104.19. And his Heat 3, that's Peterson on the outside, and Ariana Bergman in 3. Looks like Bergman and Peterson, the 2 Holliston Panthers, go 1-2 in Heat 3. Next up, Heat 4, as I get set in the blocks there. Zechariah from Holliston, Mazio from Hopkinton, Abraham from Holliston, Ashley from Hopkinton, Morse from Holliston, and Rather from Hopkinton. And there's the gun, Heat 4. That looks like Abraham and Ashley. Abraham in 3 from Holliston, and then Evelyn, Ashley from Hopkinton. They go 1-2 in Heat 4. Next up here will be Heat 5 of 8 girls 100. In Heat 5, this is an all Holliston heat here. We've got McShane, Kurjala, Miller, Neitzel, and Mailing. A decent crowd out here, considering the 42-degree weather and wind. Nice rival here between Holliston and Hopkinton. And there's the gun for Heat 5. McShane, Kurgala, Miller, Neitzel, and Mailing. In 4, that's Casey Miller. And Miller, the Panther, will take Heat 5 of 8 in the girls 100. Yeah, just about an hour ago, a little over an hour ago, it was raining, sideways, and windy. That has died down. The sun has come through now, making it feel definitely a little warmer than it was an hour and a half ago. And next up here will be Heat 6. And there's the gun. We got Kaur, Faria, Bariani, Hendeki, and Plant. In 3, that's Bariani, and in 4, Hendeki. Bariani takes Heat 6. And then next up we have Heat 7. Again, all Holliston Panther heat here. We've got Lamb, Ferranti, Sharma, McShane, and Antipoli. And there's the gun here for Heat 7. That's Ferranti in 2, and then Lamb in 1. And Kaya Ferranti, the freshman from Holliston, will take Heat 7. And we have the 8th and final heat of the girls 100. Looks like they're in the blocks down there. Hockman, Davison, and Dufault.
Boys long jump.
And then we'll shift over to our boys 100.
Boys long jump.
I just want to take a second and welcome everybody in watching live on HCAM. We had some technical difficulties to get the live stream up, but we do have the full recording of all the running events so far, and we'll have those up for you. And we got Andy Griffith, correct?
Andy Downing.
Andy Downing.
It's all good.
Sorry
no worries.
So we got Andy Downing announcing these running events. And Andy, thank you so much for stepping in and bringing us the broadcast of what's happening out there.
No problem, Tom. Yeah, like I said, 2 great schools here. I think we're going to see some good performances today, despite the wind and the cold. These are two very strong schools for track and field. Two of the powerhouses in the TVL over the last 5 to 10 years. So, thanks for having me, Tom. Definitely a pleasure to be out here.
Yeah, well, we're certainly happy to have you explain what's going on, and we got a bit of a limited view. We're inside the press box due to the elements. We were unable to set up on the roof. Very strong winds out there, but we'll try to bring you as much action as we can. And Andy, I'll let you take it away and continue announcing these great running events so far.
I appreciate it. Yeah, again, we got Heat 8 up here, a little bit of a hold up here. So that we got the 8th and final heat in the girls' 100 before we switch over to the boys. And I think there was over 50 entries in the boys' 100. So again, just a dual meet, but over 40 girls in the 100 and over 50 in the boys. And there's the gun there for the 8th and final heat of the girls' 100. In 3, that's Davison, and then Default in 4. So Davison is going to take the 8th and final heat here, girls' 100, as we shift on over to the boys. And the boys' 100 looks like we're going to have 10 heats of the boys' 100. It does look, I mean, I could just get a look at the flag behind me, and it does look like the wind is blowing on camera left to right. So a friendly wind for the final 100 here at Hopkinton High School. So that should mean that the wind will be at their back on these sprints, which is good news for the runners. I don't know what the times will look like. Once we get the official times for the girls, we'll give you the top 3 places and let you know how those look compared to their season's best. But first up here will be Heat 1. We've got Bergman from Holliston, Knutson from Hopkinton, Rodenheiser from Holliston, O'Connell from Hopkinton, Perez from Holliston, and Riviera from Hopkinton. Watch the middle lanes here. Watch 2 and 3. And also lane 4. Let's see here. Ooh, that's tight there. Lane 2, it looks like. That's lane 2. Yeah, that's John Knutson. Let's see here. Look like Knutson and then O'Connell and Rodenheiser. Hard to tell from that angle, but definitely John Knutson from Hopkinton. He comes in with a PB of 11:69. His season's best 12 flat. Next up will be Heat 2 of the boys 100. Again, we have 10 heats of the boys 100. We've got Green from Holliston, Morrissey from Hopkinton, Lecurgo from Holliston, Matt DiPietro from Hopkinton, McDonough from Holliston, and June from Hopkinton. Again, apologize for the angles here. Tom is doing the best he can with the situation he's got, aside from putting us on the roof here and us possibly getting blown off by the wind. This is the best we could do, so bear with us. And there's the gun for Heat 2. Again, Green, Morrissey, Lecurgo. And looks like in 2, that's Morrissey from Hopkinton. And in 4, that's Matt DiPietro. And next up will be Heat 3. DePippo from Holliston, Paparazzo from Hopkinton, Silva from Holliston, Pascarillo from Holliston, and Aki from Hopkinton. Yeah, the results are official now for the girls 100. Kaylee Owens from Hopkinton, 13:11. So that's a new Massachusetts number 6 best time for the season. So it shows you that nice friendly win you're getting at your back. Mancuso from Holliston, 13:55. And Addie Morrissey, 14:17. And then this boys heat here in 2. That's Paparazzo from Hopkinton. And Silva from Holliston. You know, anything under 13 seconds for a girls' hundreds is moving. So, yeah, for Owens, that's pretty quick. 13:11, especially in cold conditions. These aren't fast conditions, even though the wind might be friendly. It's cold and tough to get warmed up properly for 100 in cold conditions. So, a lot of the really fast times you see in the sprints, normally warmer conditions, Tom, like 70s, 80s. Mild wind and heat. That brings out warm. It's opposite for distance running, but for sprinting, they like warm and some heat.
And I'd imagine if you got the wind going against you, that could hold you back a few seconds.
More than a few, yeah. It throws off your whole rhythm, and it makes it tough. Next up, we got Heat 4, Lee from Holliston, Tran from Hopkinton, Katav from Holliston, Demabrilik from Hopkinton, Pollard from Holliston, and McPherson from Hopkinton. Again, this is Heat 4. And in 2 there, that's Dylan Tran. Tran is going to take Heat 4.
Now, did you get any feeling out there if the wind's blowing against the runners?
It's swirling around. I mean, I got a view of the flag behind me. Every time I look, it seems to be blowing a different direction. Now it seems to be blowing right to left on the camera. Before it was blowing the complete opposite direction. So that's a bad sign for fast times,
Right.
But again, it's early. This is the second meet for these kids outdoors. So it's really not so much about time right now. It's about good starts. It's about rhythm. It's about warming up properly, cooling down properly, all those other things. Here we go for Heat 5. There's the gun. Aduri, Smith, Keith, Burt, Ibrahim, and, that's a tight one there between 2, 4, and 5. That's Smith, Burt, and Ibrahim. Tough to tell, but I think Smith from Hopkinton up there. Yeah, these early meets is about getting your warm-up down, getting out of the blocks cleanly, getting good starts, good leans, just getting technique down. And then as the weather gets nicer, you've got the technique and all those other parts down, and then you might hit a flyer on a nice warm day with no wind or the wind at your back. So
I would say I agree, but it could. These meets also do help determine the TVL titles.
They do. This is TVL All Stars. Every meet here, you got to be on your game.
I'd say this rivalry has a very good chance to have a big role in determining that TVL title.
This is a big rivalry. Here we go. Look in 3. There, that's Oven Hamrenton from Holliston. Looks like he takes Heat 6. Yeah, this is a big rivalry. I mean, in all sports, this is a big rivalry. I'd say when track, these are two powerhouses. I mean,
absolutely.
The Holliston girls won multiple state division titles in a row in cross country and track. Hopkinton is a powerhouse. Indoors, they won the state relay meet for boys and girls. So just in February, that's something that they haven't done I think Coach Jean said she's never done it. So yeah, you're looking at two very strong teams, two large teams as well, which is why we're seeing 10 heats of the boys 100 here.
Absolutely, this is the rivalry it's come down to for the last few seasons.
Oh yeah, for sure. So here's Heat 7. See lanes 1 and 2 there. Lane 2, Seelan Zhang from Hopkinton and Eamon O'Brien. So they're gonna go 1, 2 there in Heat 7. We'll do our best to keep an eye on the team score as well. Again, that matters as well. That this is the TVL title is determined off of these dual meets from the team side. So that's important to these athletes and these coaches for sure.
If I'm not mistaken, there was a state champion in one of the running events at Holliston this past week.
There was. Lucy Downen, who
Right.
happens to have the same last name as me. But yeah, she had a very good indoor season. Yeah, she won the divisional championship in the mile, and then came back and just missed winning the meet of champs in the 1,000. She's just a freshman. We'll actually see her in the mile here in about 10 minutes.
So is it just the same last name, or is there any kind of relation?
There is a relation there, yeah. I don't want to show any bias here.
Well, you're a professional.
I'm.
so
That's a stretch. That's a stretch. Here we go. Heat 8. Look at Hopkinton in lane 6 there. Miles Heavey with a 12 point out of Heat 8. So what you're seeing there is somebody probably doesn't have a good seed time yet, but Heavey there threw down a fast time out of Heat 8. I'm sure next time we see him, he'll be in a heat that's further up, and even possibly in the varsity heat.
Well, he had a great season on the basketball team.
Oh, is he? He's a hoops guy.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. So, yeah, I mean, you see those. The great thing about track is it's the most diverse of all the sports. You get basketball, wrestlers, football players, soccer players, swimmers. They all come out and into one sport, which is amazing. Now you get throwers and sprinters and distance runners and high jumpers. And here we go, Heat 9. In lane 6 there, that's Matthias from Hopkinton. He actually was on my son's club soccer team, and I saw him run in middle school. Matthias was a speedster on the soccer field and in track. In middle school, I saw him run on the same track. He's run 12.3 in the 100, which is quick. So Matthias I would watch him. I think he's a sophomore, actually. I was going to say maybe just a freshman, but he's quick.
Absolutely, and to your earlier point, yeah, I mean, there's something for everybody in track and field. So you get a lot of the athletes that want to stay in shape during the off season. So they'll do a few track and field events, and that keeps them in great shape.
Absolutely. I mean, but what better thing for a football player or soccer player than work on your 100 or your 200 times? And here we go, 10th and final heat of the boys 100. Ooh, it's going to be tight there. In lanes 4 and 5, Kirkwood and Scaff. Kirkwood and Staff there. 1 and 2 in heat 10. So that's our 10th and final heat. And next up will be our girls' mile. As I mentioned, so we'll do the girls' mile, and then we'll go to the boys' mile here. Mile, 4 laps around this beautiful track. Again, this probably affects milers, I would say, as much, if not more, than a sprinter. This is a 5 to 6 minute race. When the wind is swirling around and you lose your rhythm in a mile, much tougher to get back than in 100. And if you get a nice little flyer on the 100 on your back, you could pick up a second or two. Whereas in the mile, you're hitting it multiple times going around the track. So we'll see how it affects them, and I'll even pop my head out of the booth here to see what it feels like once the gun goes off here.
I'd be quite interested to poll all the runners and see what they prefer, indoor or outdoor.
20 years ago, you didn't have the tracks that you do now. So now indoors, you have these beautiful banked tracks. The track at New Balance is one of the fastest tracks on the planet. So, the TBL meet, the TBL showcase meet indoors was at the track at New Balance. No wind, controlled temperature, perfect bank, the perfect surface to run on. All those conditions, and it makes for some perfect running conditions. You come outdoors here and you get wind and cold and rain and, snowed earlier. So, yeah, it's an interesting point, Tom, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, with indoor, obviously you know what the conditions are going to be, and then with outdoor, it could be, it's certainly unpredictable. So I guess it's rather the runner, I guess the determination is if the runner likes that unpredictable conditions or if they like the more predictable atmosphere.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's something about the air, right? I mean, air quality indoors versus outdoors. That definitely affects everybody a little bit differently. Certainly a day like today, I'm sure milers would rather be inside on a banked, beautiful track than outside running in the wind and feels like 32 degrees out. So
Absolutely, yeah. I think today is probably a day that most athletes want to be indoor.
yes, for sure.
Cold, chilly, and windy.
And gun's up there and gun is off. Here we go, girls mile. So we got Downen, Tumbleton, Harrington, Desmond, Evans, Coughlin, Lynch, Alonzo, Pletcher, Cassidy, and Souza. And again, we might see some games. This is, you're not going to see super fast times here. You can already tell by the pace. When you get a pack of 5 here, my guess is that they're running for points. This isn't a day where coaches are going to say, let's go try and blast a fast time. That's down in there in the lead. And then Tumbleton and Harrington. I've now watched these athletes. I watched them in cross country and then watched them indoors.
Yeah, then when you get into those warmer days later in May, that's when you're going for the fast time.
That's what. Yeah, as you get your invites when the wind dies down and you get in the 60s and 70s, that's down in there in the lead. She ran 4:53 indoors, and then Tumbleton from Hopkinton and Harrington, and then I believe that's Desmond from Hopkinton as well. So right there, right about 123. So again, we're not seeing any PBs. We're not going to see any school records here. Strictly running for points. Downen was the TVL MVP in cross country. Came back and was the TVL champion in the mile and the 1K indoors and the state champion in the mile, with the divisional state champion in the mile, I should say. Tumbleton has run 5:33, so her PB's 5:33, and Harrington, her PB, she ran indoors, she ran 5:28. So we might see a nice battle there for second between Harrington and Tumbleton. We'll just see how this shakes out.
Absolutely, and I just want to mention to all the viewers out there, Andy, you're going to keep us updated on what's going on with this race, but we're going to be bouncing around a little bit, get you some of the high jump and some of the other events going on as well. So we'll certainly be mixing different shots of the different events going on throughout the course of this meet.
I love it. Yeah, the bit of a 3-ring circus here. Again, that's Downen and Tumbleton and Harrington, and then a little bit of a gap already formed. I'll give you a split here at the halfway. So at 880, right at 248. So again, no real fast times here. But watch that race for second. I think that's going to be our battle there. Harrington and Tumbleton, pretty evenly matched with PRs, less than 5 seconds from each other. Yeah, we'll see what happens here. Yeah, so that time's like about a 5:35 mile pace. Again, Downen ran 4:53 indoors, 40 seconds faster than that. So conditions early in the season, a little bit of rust for being outdoors. Yeah, but still they're battling for points here for sure.
Absolutely, and I got to imagine that when it's cold like this, the toughest thing about it is staying loose.
Warming up, staying loose. For these milers, think about Holliston. They get off the bus. They got 15, 20 minutes until their race. They've been sitting in school all day long for 7 hours. Pop off the bus. They got to warm up. And then they're stripping down here to their uniform, which is not the warmest thing ever. So here we go with the bell again. That's Downen, and then Harrington and Tumbleton. They're 2 and 3 here at the bell. 4:17 for Downen, and then Harrington moves into second, and then Tumbleton. So Chloe Tumbleton from Hopkinton there in third, and we got about 5 meter gap there Harrington back to Tumbleton. If we're talking points here, 5-3-1. So for this dual meet scoring, first place gets you 5 points, second place gets you 3 points, third place gets you 1 point. So yeah, we're watching points in some of these because the way this shakes out, we'll see if it ends like this. But this would be a big 8 points for Holliston to a 1 point for Hopkinton. So it's so we're looking at all the points here.
I'll tell you, the scoring system could be very interesting in the winter track and field season. You saw big meets and championship meets coming down to a half a point.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So here's Downen, has another gear, looking very strong here. Downen, so the 2 Panthers here, and then these are both freshmen. Holliston freshman here, Lucy Downen, 5:36 there unofficially, and then Emerson Harrington 5:39, and then Chloe Tumbleton from Hopkinton, 5:44. So there's 1, 2, 3. Again, 8 points on the team side there for Holliston. And Hopkinton picking up the 1 point there by Tumbleton. That's Allie Desmond and Audrey Evans. The 2 Hillers here will finish 4th and 5th, right at 6:10. And 6:14. And then this is Cadence Lynch. Cadence, the junior from Holliston. And then I believe that's Alonzo and Pletcher. So Lynch there, 6:44. And then Alonzo and Pletcher. And then we got one more finisher here, Raya Cassidy from Hopkinton. Again, not great conditions. I have a ton of respect for these athletes to come out and compete. So 7:15 there unofficially for Cassidy. And again, I'll get you some results when we have them. And we'll also keep an eye on the team scores if I can figure out where that is posted here. But next up will be our boys mile. And we are going to have, it looks like we're going to have 2 heats. I don't know if they're going to combine, but they have 2 heats listed down here. We'll see if they combine them. But, yeah, we've got some decent running here. I would watch out for Fitzgibbons here in the first heat. He's got a PB of 4:35.
This is the boys 1 mile something?
This is the boys 1 mile, yeah, correct. Again, 2 large schools, so we will see multiple heats sometimes of even the mile, which is crazy to think about. But yeah, with these larger schools, you're not going to put 25 people on a starting line. So you want to split them up. You want to make sure they have a fair chance to have a nice, clean race.
Yeah, I mean, these are just 2 great programs, 2 of the best, I would say, going at it today. And really, it's come down to Hopkinton and Holliston in the fall cross-country season, winter track and field. Hopkinton, Holliston, they're at the top.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, Holliston has had some very good. I mean, they've had some great teams, but they've also had they've been blessed with some really good individuals. And Hopkinton always has this depth. They have good-sized teams. They're good at. They seem to be good at everything. But I love this matchup because you'll see the differences as the day plays out. Hopkinton will be good at some things. Holliston will be great at other things, and it's the girls' mile was a good example. That's a strength for Holliston, for sure. So in the boys' mile here, we got Fitzgibbons from Hopkinton, Arnold from Hopkinton, Burgett from Holliston, Cooper from Hopkinton, Ayube from Hopkinton, Stephen from Hopkinton, Benoff from Holliston, Wachachuset from Hopkinton, Hatherley from Hopkinton, Martin from Holliston, and Arajo from Holliston. And just like with the last race, I'll give you some splits here. This is Fitzgibbons. Again, a PB 435. That PB is a good 25 seconds faster than anybody else in this race. And he went out quick there, like 66. So that's like 424 mile pace. So not messing around. It clearly doesn't, the wind and the cold not bothering him. But we'll watch. It's not unheard of for somebody to go out a little bit quicker for that first lap and then settle into a more realistic pace. But we'll see. And then that's Burgott from Holliston, just slid into second place there. So then we have two Hillers in third, fourth, and then back to another Hiller in fifth place.
Yeah, I'd imagine it's the athletes that were competing this winter that are going to be more ready to go right off the bat, more kind of into the flow of things.
Yeah. I mean, without a doubt, Tom. Yeah, these are athletes that have been training through cross country, through indoor. This isn't their first race of the year, right? So let's see here, 2:20. So again, slow down a bit. That's 4:40 pace. And that's still Fitzgibbons from Hopkinton, and then back to Burgett. I mean, this isn't their first time out. They raced all through cross country, all through indoor. It's getting used to the outdoor track a little bit. They'll shift their training. They'll take a week off or some days off in between the two seasons, and then so it takes them sometimes a couple weeks to settle back in. But yeah, they have a lot of running in them already.
You get a lot of soccer guys at the sprint track as well, and obviously they're used to doing a whole lot of running.
They are fine with the running. That's correct. Yeah, they are totally fine with the running. And this is Fitzgibbons here, Matthew Fitzgibbons from Hopkinton here with just about 500 meters to go. Looking very smooth, very in control. And then that's Luke Burgott from Holliston. So right at 3:36 at the bell. So, he's probably going to run somewhere between 4:45 and 4:50. Burgett's best is 5:01. So this is right along, This could be a good run for Burgett there in second. We'll see how it shakes out for him. And then we go back a little ways. So Burgett clearly has gapped there the other two Hillers in third and fourth. And that's Fitzgibbons there with 200 meters to go. And here's Fitzgibbons here. 50 meters to go for Fitzgibbon. Again, his PB's 4:35, so he's not going to come close to that, but I don't expect he's going to be too upset. He picks up the 5 points for Hopkinton, 4:49. But look at that run by Burgett, 4:54 unofficially. He came in with a best of 5:05 and a PB of 4:58. And then the two Hillers there battle out for third and fourth place. And results are now official for the girls' mile. Yeah, so the two freshman Holliston Panthers go 1-2, 5:36.66 for Downen, 5:40.48 for Harrington. Chloe Tumbleton picks up the point there for Hopkinton, 5:45.06. So those were your top three in the girls' mile. And like I said before, we've got two heats of the boys' mile. So next up will be heat 2. And again, as the results trickle in, we'll give you the results from that first heat. But this next heat, we'll give you the runners here after the gun. Yeah, so I mean the other great thing about track, and Tom, you kind of mentioned it earlier, is just this 3-ring circus. You have, shot put going on off to our left, high jump off to the right, long jump and triple will be on the pit over outside of the track to the left, and then behind us you'll have discus and you'll have javelin eventually here. So you have always stuff going on, in action all around us, which makes for a lot of excitement for the spectators.
Yeah, absolutely. Always something going on, and a lot of these meets 3.5 hours, but it's really nonstop action. And when there's a break in one event, you'll have another big event going on. So, and it's always fun to cover too, and try to keep track of everything going on.
Yeah, that's the other fun part for you running the camera, is going back and forth. Let's see here. We're still waiting on results from the first heat. But in this heat here, in heat 2, we've got Yang from Hopkinton, Walter from Holliston, Urs from Hopkinton, Yang's son from Hopkinton, Cyber from Hopkinton, Goonie from Hopkinton, Andriola from Hopkinton, Saeed from Holliston, Nunez from Holliston, and Powers from Hopkinton. And that's Daniel Nunez. And then Zach Saeed, they're 1 and 2, the two Panthers. And I believe that's Charlie Powers there in 3rd from Hopkinton. Keep looking at the flag there. Keep an eye on that. Definitely still upright. So still windy. A lot of times you will see the wind will die. As we get into this 7 o'clock, 7:30 range, that wind will die down as the sun goes down. But of course, right now it'll make it colder for these runners.
Yeah, it's a pretty good wind out there, but the reason we're not on the roof because it's about 20 miles an hour more up there.
Yeah, I know. So that's Powers there from Hopkinton sliding into the lead, right at 2:47 or so. So that's, like 5:30, 5:35 mile pace. Powers from Hopkinton has a best of 5:48. And then that's Daniel Nunez in 2nd. And Zach Saeed there in 3rd. He's your 1, 2, 3. Again, this is heat 2 of 3 of the. Heat 2 of 2 of the boys' mile. And then I love the way we switch gears after this, because we're going to roll right into the relays, and we'll do some 4x1s, which is the short relay, so 1 lap around the track.
always fun, and that's a big scoring event, if I'm correct, right?
Well, the thing with the relays is you only score one. There's only 2 teams, so they only give points to one. It's a big scoring if you win, yeah. The second place team doesn't pick up points since there's only 2 teams. But I love the battle usually between these 2 teams. Again, that's Powers from Hopkinton, Nunez from Holliston in second, and Saeed in third. And this should be the bell right here. 4:16 at the bell for Charlie Powers. Powers ran 5:48.30, so we'll keep an eye on the clock. This might be a nice time for Powers. Definitely picking up the pace on the back stretches, Powers. That's 200 to go there for Charlie Powers. Powers with 100 to go. Again, keep an eye on the clock. Look at that. Right at 5:32 right now. His best coming in 5:48. So Powers is going to chunk. Look at that. 5:39 there unofficially for Charlie Powers. Already cut a nice 9 seconds off his best time for the season. Again, Powers not phased by the cold and the wind at all. Yeah, next up will be the girls 4x1. So 1 lap around the track, 3 handoffs. This one will be interesting. I think there's a clear favorite on the boys' side. And again, I don't want to show bias one way or the other. Just I've watched these 2 teams race a bunch over the last few years. The girls, I think, could be a close race. We saw it in the girls 100. You know, you had Hopkinton 1, Holliston 2, Hopkinton. So it went back and forth in the individual times. It'll be interesting to see, who they put out here and how they go head to head in the 4x1.
Yeah, well, I know during the fall and winter, Hopkinton also had very close races, and it would kind of go back and forth. This rivalry seems to go back and forth. One year it's Hopkinton winning a certain running event, and then you'll have Holliston winning it, and it's just a great rivalry, especially out there in the track and field and cross-country world.
Oh, absolutely. Yep, absolutely. I was going to say we only have 1 team on the track, but there are the Hillers. Okay, coming out. All right, good.
Okay, now we're taking a look at the high jump. Some action going on there, and we'll get you some clips of that as well as mixed in with this. What is this? The relay that's about.
This is the 4x100. Yeah, this is the girls 4x1. You're going to see 4 teams on the track, which is going to be great. It's going to be a little confusing, but really the only 2 teams we're looking at are lanes 3 and 4. They're the ones going head to head. They declare which 2 are the varsity teams that are racing. So there'll be 3 Hopkinton teams. More than likely, you're going to watch lane 4 Hopkinton team should be the faster of the 2. Of the 3, but so again, we're going to watch lanes 3 and 4, Holliston and Hopkinton, and we'll see how this shakes out. They come in with season bests of 52.16 for Hopkinton and 55.7 for Holliston. I was at the Holliston meet last week. Very windy, colder than this. So the times at this point so early don't mean a ton.
All right, we are all set. 4x1.
Yeah, it was a
good to go.
rainy week last week too. I don't know if you got to experience any of that during the week.
We missed it in the meet, thankfully, but it was cold and it was windy. Again, not conducive to fast times. But we'll see how this head-to-head matchup is. You also, it's just like anything else. What runners are they putting out here? You can only run them in so many races, so you can't run your speedsters in 4x1s, 100s, 200s, and 4x4s. All right, so there's the gun. Okay, again, from the inside out, Hopkinton in 2, Holliston in 3, Hopkinton in 4, and Hopkinton in 5. And I should say Holliston A is in 3, Hopkinton A is in 4. So Hopkinton's A team is in the lead right now on the back stretch. And you can watch where the handoffs are, Tom. So Hopkinton's still with a slight lead. So we're looking at staggers, but you're watching handoffs to see when the handoffs happen. Hopkinton there with about a 3-4 meter lead at that handoff. And then pretty even there, but Hopkinton with the lead there in 4. And right about 53 seconds and 55 for Holliston. So yeah, their seed times held up pretty consistent to what we saw before. So Hopkinton picking up the points there in the girls 4x1. Next up will be the boys 4x1. We'll have 3 teams. We'll have 2 Hopkinton teams. And then Holliston. So it would be Hopkinton B will be in lane 2. Holliston A will be in 3. Hopkinton A will be in 4.
While they get those teams ready to go, we'll take a peek in at I believe it's a shot put event going on over there.
Yeah, over to the left we got the shot put. And you probably can see some of the jump also off to the left. Might be a tough angle to see, but you can see the long jump and the shot put over to the left.
We're not clear yet. We are not clear. Not clear. Not clear.
Imagine they're
Not
referring to
clear.
the track with that announcement.
Yeah, you got to make sure the relays are a little funky, especially the 4x1, because you need judges, so people watching each of the handoffs. You got to make sure the track is clear, obviously, of any runners, any spectators, but most importantly, you need a judge at each one of the handoffs to make sure that they're handing off within the zone. And there's the gun there again. Hopkinton in 2, Holliston in 3, Hopkinton in 4.
4x1 has started. 4x1 has started.
Again, you can watch where the handoffs are. Hopkinton A there with a slight lead over Holliston. It looks like a monster lead, I know, in the back, but you got to remember with the stagger. Hopkinton still with the lead at the second exchange. And then Hopkinton A with a good 20-meter lead over Holliston here. And that will be Hopkinton A there, right at 46 seconds. So that's pretty quick for a windy day. And then we keep some of the sprint events happening here. We got a long sprint event. We'll do the girls 400 next.
Girls 400 on the track. Girls 400 on the track.
And we'll have 2 heats of the girls 400. 1 lap around the track.
I got off the waitlist at the University of Miami. I have no idea. Thank you. Let's go.
here in Heat 1. We'll have Arajo from Holliston. We'll have Razul in Hopkinton. Kalani from Holliston. Klein from Hopkinton. Miller from Holliston. And Ravoff from Hopkinton. In the middle of the track, there what's watch lanes 2, 3, and 4. Razul's run 66.8. Kalani from Holliston's run 66.7. And Klein has run 66.5. So those three runners all separated by less than 0.3 of a second. And there's the gun. Again, from the inside out, Arajo, Razul, Kalani, Klein, Miller, and Razoff.
Event you mentioned?
Well, we call this a long sprint, 400 meters. Yeah, I mean, some people call it middle distance. It's definitely a long sprint. Yeah, one lap around that track. And in 2, that's Razul, and in 4, Klein. And Mesa Kalani there in 3rd place. So Sophie Razul and then Phoebe Klein. So Hopkinton takes 1 and 2 in the girls 400. And next up will be Heat 2. So 2 heats of the girls 400 before we shift over to the boys. And results are official for the boys' mile. Fitzgibbons there, 4:49.71 for 5 points for Hopkinton. Then Luke Burgett got second, 4:54.23. In 3rd place, Jack Cooper from Hopkinton. Back to the track here, Heat 2 of the girls 400. We had a couple scratches here, as it was Zielinski, Bueno, Larder, and Burton.
Take first place in the 2nd heat of this event. And in between there, we saw some of the high jump. We've only a few high jump events left. They should be wrapping that up relatively soon, so we'll try to bring you some of that before the high jump wraps up. Now we're going to have a boys race starting up as well. This event 1 lap around the track. seems to be getting more frequent. So I actually think it's picked up a little bit since the start of this track and field meet here today. Let's turn back now towards the high jump. Looks like we have a couple hillers set to go. You're tuned in at Hopkinton Hillers Track and Field. First home of the season, Hopkinton Hillers, Holliston Panthers. Great rivalry, certainly two of the best track and field programs, I'd say, in the state, but certainly the TVL. And I want to thank Andy Downing, was kind enough to come announce some of the action. And Andy, runner himself, also a fan of the Holliston track and field team, and certainly knows his stuff about the events here today. So very grateful that Andy was able to join us and announce some of these events, and I believe he will be coming back momentarily as we get the boys running event underway.
Yeah, this is heat 1 of 2 of the boys 400.
Andy, I was just saying earlier, Glenn, that the wind seems to be picking up a bit and more frequent out there.
And like I've said a few times, this is, I mean, look, 2 hillers there in lanes 2 and 4. Yeah, you know, spring in New England, it shouldn't be a shocker to anybody.
Right?
You know, and then I think I saw 79 degrees here for early next week. So snowed this morning when I went out to my car, and then was snowing so hard it was almost whiteout conditions. And then here we are with the sun shining and the wind just swirling everywhere.
It was a random snow squall a couple hours before this meet started.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. So, yep, classic New England. You do have to love it. Yeah.
Well, especially in April, you just don't know what you're going to get.
No. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, in that first heat there, Tomasino Steyer and Aiden Pritchard, 1 and 2 there for the Hillers. And that heat 1 is your varsity heat, so that's where all your points are scored. Again, scoring only top 3 in varsity sections score 5 points for first, 3 for second, 1 for third place. So the Hillers, they're picking up 8 points, eight big points there in the 400. But we still have 2 more heats to go. In this next heat, heat 2, we've got O'Brien, Bedrosian, Brown, Zhang, Cataldo, and Rizvava. And that's Cataldo, Alex Cataldo there in the lead. So right there is the 200. So that's your halfway point for the 4. You know, for a lot of these younger athletes here, Cataldo's a sophomore. You know, a chance to learn these new events, to get stronger. Alex is a soccer player, so. Watch the clock there, right at 60 seconds right there. So Alex Cataldo will take heat 2, 64 seconds. So that's not bad, you know, for somebody who's fairly new to track and field. 400 is not a forgiving event. A lot of lactic, a lot of pain in the 400.
Right. Well, in this leg, you got really the future of these teams, right? The guys you'll be relying on a couple of years down the road to compete in those big events.
I mean, that's where right. You gotta keep feeding, right? So you're a lot of your depth and your winners and your point scorers are probably going to be upperclassmen. But you got to keep feeding the system. Got to keep feeding the system, right? So finding those younger athletes who can get into it, and maybe they're not in varsity heats now, but as juniors, you know, they start to work their way up. So a 64 stays with it this season, and maybe by the end of the year he's in the upper 50s, and he can run a 58 or a 59, and then stays with it in the soccer season and indoors, and maybe next year he's running in those 55, 56s.
Well, you know what they say. Usually you can't go right to the pros.
No, you can't. No. Hard to do in track and field. They're both these programs have very good middle school programs. Good feeder systems. I've been to quite a few of the middle school meets here and over at Holliston, and they help. But really, they help a little bit. You really got to get into the high school system and go through all of the program because it's different. The middle school programs are usually only working out a couple days a week, so nothing compares to a full season of high school track and field and cross country. So this is heat 3. Again, the final heat. This is an all Hopkinton heat of the boys 400, and then next up will be our girls 100-meter hurdles. So we'll come back over to the straightaway here and run some short hurdles.
Well, as that sun comes closer to setting, it's going to make it a little more difficult.
It is. I know. Hopefully they get most of this done. That's lane 3 there. Kaya Demer-Brillick from Hopkinton, and on the outside, lane 5, Theo Langlois. Yeah, that's always the trade-off. The sun goes away and you lose the wind, but you also lose whatever heat we have, which isn't much.
Right.
I think I pulled up on my phone. It's about 41 degrees and feels like 30 out there. So, yeah, so not warm. The winds right now, right about 15 miles an hour and gusting up to 28. So breezy for sure.
800, check in at the finish line.
So in the press box, Ruth, that would mean about 40 to 60 miles.
That's probably where we don't want to be, right? So next up will be the girls 100-meter hurdles. We'll have 3 heats of the girls. Also great to watch. The athletes themselves have to do a lot of the hurdling. So I don't know if you can hear it on the video, but a lot of the coaches and athletes communicating with each other. This isn't a big invitational. There's not volunteers. The volunteers are the athletes. So the home team, in this case, Hopkinton, is in charge of all the hurdles. So you'll see a lot of their athletes out there, and then you'll see Coach Gene down here checking all the hurdles to make sure that the heights are correct and the positions are correct. But they're missing, as you can tell, the gap here, and that's where the coach is standing, missing a row of hurdles. So that's why we have coaches checking, and we'll make sure everything's correct, and then we'll get rolling here for the girls.
Yeah, if you're one of those athletes on the team responsible for getting those hurdles out, you better make sure you're paying attention.
There's definitely a bit of this is part of teamwork, and this is unlike other sports where, if this isn't your event, and I don't care if you just won the mile, you jump in and you help out. You grab a couple hurdles and you throw them on the track, and that's part of the deal.
Too. I mean, part of the sport is, I watched the team practicing behind me when I'm over at the turf field announcing games, and part of it is just kind of running through the layout of everything, because you got to keep it moving along to make sure that you get everything in, because there's a lot of events in these meets.
There's a ton of events in these meets, and you want to keep them moving along. You want to keep it exciting for people watching at home, as exciting as we can make this, right? So you want to keep it moving along. You also want to have a short meet so you can get out of here before it does get cold. I am getting a few notes. So where can they watch? This is live right now. So where can somebody watch this live? I mean,
if you go to youtube.com/hcamtv, or you can find it at our website, hcam.tv. There's links there that'll bring you there. But You could just go right to youtube.com/HCAMTV or just search for HCAMTV on YouTube and you should be able to find it.
All right, I'm going to send that text out now to these people who want to watch the meet live. So again, here we are, second meet of the year for Hopkinton and Holliston. Dual meet. I don't want to say their biggest dual meet of the year, but it's a very important one in the large TVL. It's up there, yeah. No disrespect to the other teams in the large TVL, but this is always a battle.
We got some action at the high jump, so keep the camera there, and Andy, as they get close to starting, if they're about to go, give me a little nod, and we'll make sure that we turn back towards the race here.
Yeah, it looks like they're still settling in, getting set in their blocks. Again, heat 1 of 3 in the girls' 100-meter high hurdles. In heat 1, we'll have Balmer from Holliston, Hopkins from Hopkinton, Grand Forest from Holliston, Rogers from Hopkinton, Drummy from Holliston, and Gallagher from Hopkinton. You know, in the sprint events, you watch the middle of the track. That's how seeding usually works. They'll put fastest seeds in the middle lanes in general. So watch lanes 3 and 4 usually are where the fastest seed times are. And you can see in 4 there, that's Kylie Rogers from Hopkinton. One of the favorites. She comes in with a best of 17:33. So that will be Rogers from Hopkinton taking heat 1 of the girls' 100-meter hurdles. And again, still early in the season, only the second dual meet. Even though these athletes did, a lot of them competed indoors, still takes a little bit to get back into the outdoor rhythm. They run shorter distances indoors in the hurdles. They run the 55-meter hurdle, so they run a shorter distance, and then outdoors they move up to the 100. And next up will be heat 2. We have Flynn, Whitehead, Walzwucic, Pirelli, and Finnegan.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Andy, the TVL as a whole, TVL large, TVL small, so many great track and field athletes, cross-country athletes, and that's why those TVL meets are always so much fun because there's so many different athletes in the league that can win any event.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Here's the gun for heat 2. Again, watch the middle of the track usually, and that is Bella Washowitz from Hopkinton. Comes in with a best of 18:83. And you can just look at her form. Oh, actually, of course, if she trips over the last hurdle, but her form is very smooth. We'll see what her official time was there for Bella, winner of heat 2. And we do have a third heat, so third and final heat of the girls coming up next. And then we'll move on to our boys' 100-meter hurdles. I was going to grab some scores here for you. After 7 events, let's see here. Let's see here. On the boys' side, Hopkinton with 51 points, Holliston with 8. On the girls' side, a little bit closer here, Hopkinton with 38 points. And Holliston with 21. So the 7 scored events so far that they've had, the 100, the 400, the 400-meter hurdles, the mile, the 4x1, the long jump, and the shot put. And I would say the girls is probably where we'll see a little more of a competition with the two. Again, Hopkinton boys indoors were a bit of a juggernaut. They're good across all events. Holliston girls, you know, we saw them in the girls' mile. They've got some decent milers. They also have some good sprinters. So we might see a closer competition in the girls' side for the team event.
Yeah, the Hillers indoor team taking home the D2 state championship this past winter, so that was certainly fun to be able to witness.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And both, you know, the boys and the girls won the relay state championship. Oh, hard fall there, but she gets back up. I love to see that.
Alright, they're going to get the boys to the starting line, and then meantime, we'll see if we can take in any action here at the high jump.
Yeah, let's see if we can get some high jump down to the right.
To the next blue mark.
And next up will be the boys 110 meter high hurdle. So they go back 10 more meters for the boys. They run 110 meters. The girls run 100 meters. And the height difference is a couple clicks on the hurdles as well. So the hurdle crew will be moving the hurdles and changing the height. And we'll have 2 heats of the boys 110 high hurdles.
So the normal hurdle height for boys and girls is a bit different?
They have different heights. They have different, it's very confusing, Tom, I know. So the boys run 110 meters and they put the hurdles at different locations because there's an extra hurdle and it's at a higher height than the girls. The girls run 100 meters, lower heights, 1 fewer hurdles.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, it'll be a quiz later, Tom, so. The 400 meter hurdles, they run the same number of hurdles, so they're at the same, but at different heights.
I'm not as brushed up on my track and field as some others.
It's all good. It's all
I'm more
good.
of the camera guy when it comes to track and field. But always fun to get to these meets and watch these great events. And we're certainly happy to be able to bring you today's event here on HCAM. And we got some great teams coming in this year. I know Westwood's coming in. They're always a great team. So that'll be a fun meet to cover as well.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, TVL is always fairly strong. I mean, Westwood's got some very good athletes. Ashland actually has some, they've got some good distance runners as well. The girls finished second at the TVL in cross country. The boys have some good runners. Dedham has some good distance runners as well. The TVL is always strong. But again, this is one that you kind of look to the calendar to and say, okay, let's get the Holliston Hopkinton duel is one that we want to look to, and coaches will be happy to be done with this one and to move on.
Yeah, I mean, when you see the state champions every year, I mean, you usually have a team or two coming out of the TVL. It's a very strong track and field cross country league.
Yes, absolutely is. Yep, absolutely. So again, we'll have 2 heats of the boys 110 high hurdles, and then we'll go on to the girls 800.
And while we get ready for this next event, I just want to tell everyone we got a whole lot of sports coming up this week on HCAM. The fun continues tomorrow. We will have Hiller baseball and softball taking on Medfield. Those games are at 5 p.m. and the rest of the schedule here. But we also have boys volleyball on Thursday. And I will work on getting the schedule up. There we go. Looks like it's finally popping up. But let's go to the race.
Here we go. Heat 1 of 2. Boys 110 high hurdles. There in 4. That is Jacob Logan from Hopkinton. And then in 3, that's Aiden Brower from Holliston. And then Logan from Hopkinton. But Jacob Logan takes heat 1 of 2 of the boys 110 high hurdles.
There you have it. That was leg 1. How many legs of this?
We have two heats of this one. Next up, we'll only have three runners. Salvi from Hopkinton, Klaufer from Holliston, and Nee from Hopkinton. And it looks like we had a scratch. So we just have Salvi and Cloffer in this heat 2 of 2 in the boys 110 high hurdles.
Well, as we get started here, to finish my point earlier, you could go to hcam.tv and check out our broadcast schedule. We have all kinds of Hiller athletics coming up this week, some big games, so go to hcam.tv and check out broadcast schedule.
Again, second and final heat, boys 110 high hurdles. In 2 there, that's Anve Salvi from Hopkinton. Again, these are big technique events. So you just got to go through this a bunch of times. You got to get the muscle memory of going over those hurdles. But the younger you can get them into the hurdles, they can get that technique down. And you might see these younger athletes here in another year or two. You might see them in the varsity heat, the faster heat. You might see them at the TVL championships in a couple years if they stick with it. As we remove the hurdles here, next up will be the girls 800. And then we'll be on to the boys. We'll have 1 heat in the girls.
Coach Prescott directing
Yes.
directing things down there and making sure those hurdles get cleared off the course.
Yep, those are Hopkinton track and field athletes right there. Yep. They got to go and remove the hurdles, and then they got to go stack them up someplace neat so that they can find them the next time around for practice and for their next meet. So you'll hear the coaches, nicely yelling to them to speed up and get out there and help.
It's good motivation.
It's good motivation. It is. It is a bit of team building, like I said earlier. Yeah, it's just to jump in, you grab a couple. It's really not a ton of work. If when you have a team with 100 athletes, if everybody grabs a hurdle or two, it's done. So.
High jump action going on.
Yeah, they should be, but
They moved the stick higher, so I'm guessing these are the big jumps we're witnessing here.
Yeah, Hopkinton has a couple of the best in the TVL. So you can see the height of the young athlete there, who's probably close to 5'10", 5'11". So that bar, I'm only guessing, could be in the 5'6". Ooh, there's a clearance. You see that clearance there? I'm guessing, let's say she's 5'7", 5'8". That bar's probably could be 5'4", 5'5", 5'6", somewhere in there. So nice clearance there for the Hiller. Like I said, Hopkinton they're good at almost every event. High jump has been one where they've got some very solid athletes. Yeah, Hopkinton has 2 athletes that have jumped over 5 feet. Emily Miller and Jane Hopkins. So both of them have jumped over 5 feet. That looks to be, in the low 5s, so that could be close, very close to a PB fruit. So here we go, heat 1. So we only have 1 heat here of the girls 800. We've got Downen, Stucci, Healing, Torin, Schneider, Miller, Finnegan, and Osborne. 800, 2 laps around the track, so half the distance of the mile. And you're going to see a familiar stride there in the lead. Lucy Downen doubling back from the mile, and so in running the 800. And then that's Taya Stucci, the senior captain from Holliston there in second.
correct me if I'm wrong, but did Downing break some kind of state record recently? I believe
She,
records.
Tom, you know a lot more than you let on here. Yeah, she set the state division state record in the mile indoors when she won that championship, which was also the school record for Holliston, and that school record had held for almost 30 years, so it was pretty exciting to see both those records go down. So again, this is Downen and Stucci. So the freshman and the senior, the two teammates, right at 74 seconds. So that's about a 2:28, 800 pace. Stucci last week ran 2:30.35 in the 800. Downen ran, I think, 2:17 indoors. Again, you're not going to see the fastest of times, not going out in 1:14. But it's still Downen and Stucci.
Well, one of the reasons I know some of these things is we have a show called TVL Sports that you might have heard of, which airs on HCAM, HCAT, as well as several other great stations in TVL towns are kind enough to air the show. So we try to follow all the action throughout the TVL to bring you a well-rounded TVL sports net.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So 100 to go here in the girls 800. This is Downen and Stucci. Again, Downen the freshman and Stucci the senior.
Apologies, folks. Doing my best. That sun is glaring right in my eyes.
Okay, that's Downen there, 2:27, and Stucci 2:30, 2:31. And then I believe that's Lila Healing. Hard to see the hip there in third. So the Hiller takes third place there and gets the big point for Hopkinton. Again, you can see the shift. We talked about the team scoring. It was, what, 51 to 35 or so, something like that. So that's a big 8 points for Holliston. And then with Hopkinton picking up the 1. So it's a 7-point swing on the team side and just after that one event. So things can shift quickly here on the team side and the team scoring. Try and keep you up to date on the scores as much as we can along the way here.
Is that the last leg of the 800? Or just that one?
Just the one heat of the girls, yeah, just the one heat of the girls. On the boys' side, let's see here, we have 2 heats of the boys. So we've got 27 competitors of the boys, so we'll have 2 heats. Again, 2 laps around the track. The varsity sections are the first section, so the faster section. In this first section, as they come up here onto the track, we have Harrington from Holliston, Leo from Hopkinton, Heavey from Hopkinton, Matt Dupretro from Hopkinton, Morrissey from Hopkinton, Knutson from Hopkinton, Meehan from Hopkinton, Kelly from Holliston, Martin from Holliston, Alexander from Hopkinton, Burgett from Holliston, Vieira Green from Holliston, Brown from Holliston, and Frasca from Hopkinton. So these are seated lane 1 out. So in general, the fast seeds will be on the rail on lane 1. So Max Harrington has a 2:07 PB, the senior from Holliston there on the rail. So in lane 1, Darian Leo has got a PB of 2:10, and then Miles Heavey's got a PB of 2:07.
What's been going on in your world? Where's
And again, we've got 2 heats here of the boys 800. And there's the gun.
Boys high jump, please report. Boys high jump, please report.
Wind still swirling. Keeping an eye on the flag. Still moving around.
Well, the sun's certainly out, that's for sure.
The sun is out, and that is giving a little bit of warmth for sure, yeah. So that's Hopkinton in first there, and then Max Harrington, the senior, in second. So that's Miles Heavey, and then Max Harrington slides into the lead, and then John Knutson in third from Hopkinton. So right at 61 seconds, so that's about 2:02, so that would be a PB for both these runners. Again, Max Harrington from Holliston.
I think we're going to have a close finish here if this pace keeps up.
We will, for sure, yeah, and then that's Miles Heavey in second. And then back to John Knutson in third.
Dig deep, Miles! Let's go!
Miles is getting some cheers from the crowd there. He's sitting about 10 meters or so back from Harrington. 200 to go now. Harrington, a TVL All-Star in cross country. I believe he finished second at TVLs in the cross country championships in the fall. Very accomplished senior for the Holliston Panthers. Let's watch the clock there, right at 2:03.4. So 2:06, 2:07 there for Harrington. Look at the kick at the end there. We'll have to check those official results there, but Max Harrington, the winner of Heat 1.
That was a good one.
That was an exciting one. That's a fast one, yeah.
Let's go, Hopkinton! Let's go, Hopkinton!
As we wait for one more finisher here. We got results in the girls 800 down and from Holliston 228.24, Stucci 231.17, Healing from Hopkinton 239.25. So those are your three scores in the girls 800.
Zach, how much money did you get off?
I haven't checked yet.
Oh, that's gonna be confusing. You know what? You can't go there.
And then after 9 events now on the girls side, Hopkinton with 47, Holliston with 30. So that's after 9 events. We score 16 events outdoors, so there's still 7 events still that they need to score. On the boys side, not quite as close after 9 events. Hopkinton with 66, Holliston with 11.
I would have been like, how come it was a chance? Don't worry, flying right into Miami.
So next up will be Heat 2 of the boys 800. In this heat, we've got Zielinski, Boyer, Buckow, Kadamrendi, Lutz, Saeed, Deschreurs, Noper, Lutz, Gaekwad, Mason, Kirkwood, and Ring. Let's watch Mason. He's got a PB of 229. And Jack Deschores, also a PB of 229 from Hopkinton. And then also Gaekwad has a PB of 236. So there's a couple of runners there for you to watch. Here, Heat 2 of 2 in the boys 800. So this one definitely more bunched. So this definitely more tactical. You'll see two types of races typically in these middle distance races. You'll see them go out hard, and that was more like the boys. We saw that taken out hard, and then what that does is string those races out. And then you'll see something more like this, a little more tactical, a little more bunched. In this one, you could see any one of these 8, 9, 10 athletes, having a strong second lap and taking the win. So two types of races in general that you'll see. In the lead there, that's Vubu Kadamrendi and Jack Deschores. So right at 77 seconds.
Now I'm like, no one's having my brain right now. James is like, Mom, and so are you? And so are you? What are you, Mills? Do you know I like raised ribs?
Also, Tom, am I allowed to give shout outs? I'm just
Oh, absolutely.
shouting out to my parents who are watching remotely in Florida.
Shoutouts are encouraged.
Shout outs are encouraged for sure, you know. Took them a little while to log on, but I think they got it now. They're on and enjoying the coverage. Again, welcome to everybody who's watching here.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, folks, we're getting the best scenes we can for you. We're battling a couple of things here, the sun and obviously the restrictions of being inside the press box today due to the heavy wind. But we hope you're enjoying the coverage.
And here's a solid finish here in the second heat of the boys 800. Look at that, 2:33 roughly there for the winner of the second heat.
I got a video proving it. Whole thing, you won.
And then next up will be our girls 200. So we'll shift the attention over to the far side. So we'll start over on the far side of the track. Yeah, again, thanks everybody for joining us out here. Hopkinton versus Holliston dual meet outdoor track and field. This is dual meet number 2 on the TBL season. Last week, not much nicer than this. At least we got the sun now. It was snowing this morning. It was raining sideways about 2 hours ago before the meet. It's been windy all day long. The sun is shining now, as I'm sure you can see, which is definitely making you feel warmer. But
I could see it.
yes, you can certainly see it trying to run the camera. But right now it's looking like, my phone says it's about 32 degrees and, feels like 30 degrees outside. So not a warm one for these athletes, but we've seen some decent performances so far, possibly some folks utilizing that strong wind that we have out here. Again, we're going to shift our attention over to the 200. And next up is going to be the girls 200. And the girls 200 will have 5 heats.
Boys and girls 200, please report. Boys and girls 200.
So only
please
3
report.
more track events left. We got the 200, and then we'll have the boys and girls 2 miles, which usually they'll combine the 2 miles, and then of course the most exciting event in track and field, the 4x4. So only three events left to go. So both genders, but next up will be the 200.
Yeah, they've moved at a good pace today, you know, considering it's an early season meet and there were some elements to deal with. Moved at a pretty good pace getting through these events.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Just so you know, my parents say the video is very clear, very good coverage. So that's good to hear. Despite the wind and the sun, we've got a very clear video, which is great to hear.
That's the important thing. As long as you could see clearly what's going on here.
Oh, for sure. So again, we got 5 heats of the girls. In heat 1, we've got Clark from Holliston, Addie Morrissey from Hopkinton, Mancuso from Holliston, Owens from Hopkinton, Aramo from Holliston, and Jeremiah from Hopkinton. And Gunn is up there for heat 1. Here we go. Heat one, girls 200. Clark, Addie Morrissey, Mancuso, Owens, Aramo, and Jeremiah. Again, in these sprints, watch the inside lanes. That's Mancuso in 3. And Owens So Owens with about a stride lead over Mancuso. Ooh, fast times too. See, this is one where you can utilize that wind. It looked like Kaylee Owens from Hopkinton took heat 1. Mancuso was right there. Mancuso's got a PB of 27.3. So Mancuso's been up there. She's usually top 3, top 4 in the TVL. But Owens, obviously, no slouch herself in the TVL. We'll see what the results when they pop up here. But Owens takes heat 1 of 5 of the girls 200. Next up, heat 2, Singh, Sweeney, Starr, Rossell, Whitehead, and Burton. And there's the gun. Couple scratches here out of this heat. In lane 5, that's Whitehead from Holliston. The freshman comes in with a PB of 31.5, and she will take heat 2 of the girls 200. And then next up will be heat 3. In this heat, we'll have Miller, Zielinski, Arsenal, Flynn, Peterson, and Gambino. And there's the gun for heat 3. Here, as we look at heat 3 here, Owens there, Kaylee Owens' official time 28.03, Mancuso 28.05, and Aramo 28.93. So those were your top 3 out of heat 1. And then next up will be heat 4 of 5 of the girls 200. Fonseca, Bergman, Larder, Yang, and Faria. And clearly a few scratches here in this one as well. That's Ariana Bergman from Holliston. And then Olivia Yang. So Bergman and Yang here in heat 4. And then next up will be our final heat of girls 200. We'll have Davison, Cornwell, Lamb, Arroyo, and McShane. This will be an all Holliston heat as well. That's Claire Cornwall there in lane 3. Cornwell and then Davison. And that will conclude the girls 200. Again, that was a tight one there for the win. Owens from Hopkinton took the win there in the 5 points, 28.03. Mancuso from Holliston secures 3 points for the Panthers, 28.05. And then Aramo from Holliston, 28.93, rounds out our top three. And next up will be our boys 200. Just like the girls, we'll have 5 heats. We've got Perez from Holliston, Logan from Hopkinton, Florendo from Holliston, Saxon Azavifa from Hopkinton, Brower from Holliston, and Tran from Hopkinton. In 2, that's Jacob Logan from Hopkinton. And then Lucas Perez in lane 1. So it's Logan and Perez go 1-2 out of heat 1. Logan with a PB of 25.11. And Perez with a PB of 25.54. Next up, heat 2, Lee, Lewandowski, Bergman, Pascarillo, and Hebert. Looks like Lewandowski's scratched, so this is an all Holliston heat. There in 3, that's Bergman. And on the outside, Hebert. So Bergman and Hebert. 2 Panthers battle it out there for heat 2. Heat 3 will be Silva, Brigham, Aduri, Hermatra, Katab, and Smith.
Because we can.
Well, because they, I mean, they're doing it. If they're optimizing around.
Again, another all Holliston heat here. Heat 3, that's Paul Katab on the outside. And then Aduri and Humberachard. Looks like Katab took heat 3. Heat 4 will be Pollard, Selva, Green, and Wong. Again, this is heat 4 of 5, boys 200. 2 competitors here, so we had 2 scratches in heat 4. Lane 4, that's Nolan Green.
Let's go, Luke.
Nice job, Luke.
And then Luke Soulful works his way up to take heat 4. It looks like we had enough scratches there, so that concludes our boys 200. Next up, Tom, we have possibly the coldest event of the day, the 2 mile. So 8 laps. 8 laps around this beautiful track. We'll see if they combine it. We have, looks like we have 4 competitors for the girls and 8 for the boys. A lot of times in these early dual meets, they'll combine the boys and the girls, save a little bit of time, get everybody out of here 15 minutes earlier. They don't always do that, but we'll see what they decide to do here tonight. And then, of course, ending up with the 4x4s. But you can still see the boys' high jump had just started. We got that going on. Behind me, we still have the discus. And looks like shot put is completed. So we'll get a look here. After the 2 mile starts, we'll get a look at the team scores. And so we'll get an update on that quickly. Still with, looks like about maybe 4 or 5 events still to go.
And right now, people at home are seeing the high jump. Nice clear jump there. Hopkinton.
Privileged to see you. I'm out of here.
Yeah, so on the boys' side here, here we go. We're getting the competitors in the 2 mile. You can see them all bundled up here. See, but that's why I say the coldest event. See these? They got the headbands on, the hats, the gloves. 8 laps around the track here for the boys and girls 2 miles.
So they are going to go combined, it looks like.
And they will combine them, yeah, which is going to save everybody, like I said, 12 to 15 minutes of sitting out in the cold. We initially had 4 competitors on the girls' side. I'm now seeing 3. And then I'm counting, let's see here, 6 competitors on the boys' side. And I am seeing, let's see here, Harrington. So she was second in the mile. She's the Holliston on the far outside. And then a complete opposite end, Sean Finnegan, who, if you follow Hopkinton track and field at all, you should know that name now.
Oh, absolutely.
The senior, has run 9:17 for 2 miles. Again, I don't expect him to try and go anywhere near that. But he has run at nationals in this event, TVL champion. So in cross country, TVL champion in indoor track, and you can pick him out because he's wearing a pink cap. So we'll be able to see him as he cruises around the track here. So competitors on the boys' side, Sean Finnegan from Hopkinton, Charlie Peterson from Holliston, Wyatt Kutchman from Holliston, Antonio Arroyo from Holliston, Gavin Scott from Hopkinton, Luke Burgett from Holliston, Jack Heaton from Hopkinton, and Harrison Gu from Hopkinton. And then on the girls' side, we've got Saida from Hopkinton, Hahn from Hopkinton, and Harrington from Holliston. And that is Sean Finnegan there, our early leader. Again, we'll be able to pick him out with the pink hat, and I'll give you some splits along the way here to kind of try and give you an idea of what kind of pace they're running. But Finnegan has run 9:17 for 2 miles. That's his best. So we'll see what he does here. Might use this kind of as a little workout. Maybe he's going to help lead some of his teammates to a fast time. That's Finnegan and Scott. Scott in second place there. So 75 seconds. So that's about a 10-minute 2 mile pace. Definitely not slow by any means. But we'll see what happens here as the race progresses. And on the girls' side, that's Saida in the lead there for Hopkinton, followed closely by Harrington. Again, Harrington is doubling back from running the mile, so we'll see how much that took out of her legs. She got second in the mile, the Holliston freshman. And she's about, looks like, 3-4 yards back on Saida from Hopkinton. But you can already see the runners separating themselves out a little bit here. Again, that's Sean Finnegan, the senior from Hopkinton in the lead. And then it's Scott, Goo, and Heaton. And then the two Holliston runners there, Peterson and Burgett. And then back to Arroyo, and then it's from Hopkinton there, that's Saida, and from Holliston, Harrington. So those are 1 and 2 on the girls' side. Again, still Finnegan. Finnegan was the Tri-Valley League Showcase champion indoors in the mile, and he did it out of the slow heat, which I was at that meet at the track in New Balance. That was kind of fun to watch. So he won the meet itself from the slow heat. And that's Gavin Scott, and then Harrison Goo.
In the meantime, we're mixing in some of the high jump as well. And we'll kind of go back and forth from that and this race going on here. If I'm correct, it's 8 laps around the track?
We got 8 laps around the track, correct, yeah. And the girls there are just passing 1,200 meters, so 3 laps in. The boys, when they come around here, will be at the mile. So we'll get an idea of where they are at halfway. So the boys almost halfway done. The girls still with 5 laps to go. Yeah, Finnegan ran that PB indoors, 9:17:54. He ran it at the at the MSTCA state coaches meet.
It's your boys leader now.
And there's Finnegan still, so it's Finnegan, Scott, and Goo. Those are your top 3 as they lap their first runner. Right at 5:20-ish for the mile. So again, that's about a 10:42 mile pace. You know, like we thought, Finnegan is not going to try and set any PBs or anything today. Just helping some of his teammates along to a fast time. Scott's PB 10:59. So yeah, so this would be a big PB for Scott. And Goo's right in there too. Harrison Goo in 3rd place. So they're a nice little pack. So Harrington has worked her way up here on the girls' side. So as they come by the booth here, this will be the mile for them. So they'll have 4 laps to go. The girls will, as they come by us, give you a split right here. The girls are right at 6:25. So they're right at, you know, just under 13-minute pace. And as Harrington goes into the lead, so it's still 1 and 2 there on the girls' side now, Harrington and Saida. And the boys still Finnegan, Scott, and Goo with 3 laps to go. And then it's back to Peterson from Holliston. And Peterson's a good, let's call it 60, 70 meters back from those top 3. We'll keep an eye on him to see if he closes that gap at all. But still a ways back from those top 3 scoring positions. And Harrington on the girls' side now has stretched out her lead to 20, 25 meters. So Harrington has definitely worked her way into the lead. And if you recognize the name Harrington, it's because her brother was the one that won the 800 earlier. So Harrington, Emerson Harrington, the freshman from Holliston, here leading the 2 mile. She's doubling back after just running the mile. And her brother, the senior, won the 800. And then as the boys pass us here, again, still Finnegan and Scott, and then Gu. So those are your top three on the boys' side. So, but Finnegan, Scott, and Goose staying together there down the back stretch. And Harrington now has a running mate as she passes one of the boys. So Harrington extends her lead now to like 30 meters or so. But those three Hillers running 1, 2, 3. I think we get a good shot of him there. That's Finnegan in the pink
Boys and
cap.
girls, 4x4, please report. Boys
And then
and
Gavin
girls, 4x4,
Scott.
please report.
And Harrison Gu.
So there's what, 2 more laps left?
9:27 there. I didn't hear a bell or anything, but I think that might have been the bell right there, because they came through the mile in 5:25, so that would, or 5:20, so that would put them right about 10:40. And on the girls' side, that's still Harrington and Saida. They're 1 and 2. But look at Harrison Gu. I don't know if you got a shot down the back stretch there. Harrison Gu has worked his way into lead. That's 200 meters to go for Gu. And then Finnegan and Scott. So Finnegan has stepped out of the way, so Scott can kind of go by on the inside. With 100, let's watch the clock here. With 100 meters to go, Harrison Gu, who sat back in third place for most of the race, with a strong, strong last lap. Again, keep an eye on that clock. And then Gavin Scott. So 10:39 unofficially there for Harrison Gu. And then Gavin Scott, 10:45. And then Sean Finnegan pats his teammates on the shoulders there. Did some nice pacing to get his two teammates on really good fast time. And then down the home stretch here, here's our leader on the girls' side. So that's Charlie Peterson from Holliston, the first Holliston runner finishing for them. And then about 10 meters back from him is Emerson Harrington. So Harrington here on her last lap. So she's going to finish up that double, the 2 mile double. It's the strength builder for the distance runners out there. You know, early in the season, sometimes you like to do the 2 mile double. It gets a really good workout in, really builds a lot of strength, and sometimes it pays off later in the season, really grinding out those 2 races. So Harrington really picking it up on the backstretch. With 200 to go, Emerson Harrington on the girls' side, she's really stretched her lead out. Wafia Sayeda from Hopkinton was our early leader, and Sayeda's run 12:28. So she has the much better PR. There's Sayeda with 200 to go, but Harrington with a 100-meter lead here with 100 to go. The freshman looking very strong here over the last 100. Harrington is going to pick up a big 5 points here for the Panthers. We'll watch the clock. 12:46 unofficially for Harrington. And then Wafia Saida will take second place in the girls 2 mile. Well off for PB of 12:28, but she'll pick up 3 points for the Hillers. So three key points here for the Hillers. And then we still have one more runner on the track with 200 to go. That's Megan Hahn.
You said Harrison Gu finished first, correct?
Harrison Gu, yes, yeah, with the win there. Yeah, he sat in third place. You know, it's just smart racing for Gu. Yeah, he did no work. He sat in third place. You know, a lot of this is how much you can just relax and settle into a rhythm and a pace. It becomes a lot easier. Somebody like you have Finnegan, who's such a strong runner, can settle and give almost like a cadence of just clicking off those laps, and Gu doesn't have to think. He just sits right on, locks in on the shoulder, and yeah, picks up a nice time for Gu and 5 points for the Hillers.
Yeah, they're just kind of letting it all go in that last lap, right?
And that's all you do. Yeah, he sits, stores up all of his energy, and then just kind of let it all out that last bit. And there's our final finisher there in the 2 mile. Third place for the girls, yeah, that was Megan Hahn with third place. So she'll pick up a point for the Hillers. So while the girls' team scoring maybe was getting a little closer, even though Holliston gets the win there, it's still only 5-4 on points. So Holliston with a net +1 coming out of the 2 mile. So if we look at our team scores,
It's going to be a close one.
It probably will be close, but again, Hopkinton tends to be a little stronger in some of the field events.
Right.
So we're not seeing a lot of those, you know, here on the screen. Let's see his scores.
Still registering some of those scores.
Yeah. So after 13 events, for the boys' side, the Hopkinton with 90 points and Holliston with 23. And then on the girls' side, yeah, again, a little closer, but, you know, some of those field events, Hopkinton with 65 points, Holliston with 39. So, yeah, again, that one net of a +1 is not going to, you know, help Holliston enough, I think, where they're going to be able to close the gap. Still with only, you know, that's 12 of 16 events scored. So still with four events to score.
Yeah, looks like we still have some of the high jump still going, and looks like some of the discus as well.
Yep.
Still in session.
Yep. So we got the discus, we got the high jump, and of course the 4x4 will be the next event up on the track. And there they go. So here's the girls 4x4, last girls running event of the day. We got a couple Hopkinton teams, and then we have one Holliston team. So again, only one team, only the winning team here scores. They don't give one first, second, third place, obviously, if it's just two teams competing. So only one team gets points in relays. Nice to see that is the Hillers and the Panthers 1 and 2 and shoulder to shoulder. So they run the first lap here in their lane, which is going to look a little confusing. And then after they hand off, the runners will be able to cut in on the second leg. So that's Kaylani there, who finished third in the 400 for the Holliston Panthers. So Holliston 1, Hopkinton 2, and again, they'll be able to cut in now. Holliston with about let's call it a 5 to 10 meter lead here over the Hillers. So this is Schneider for Holliston, and the second runner for Hopkinton is Razov. I love when these races are tight. I mean, it's so exciting to end these meets with the 4x4, nice team race, a long team race, so like a 4-minute team race, especially when it's close like this. 100 meters to go for our second runners as they go into the second exchange. And Hopkinton goes into the lead. So Hopkinton and then Holliston, so swapped a little bit from the first exchange. Holliston now has got to make up 15 meters or so. Third runner for Hopkinton is Tumbleton. So she is the miler who's doubling back. And then for Holliston, that's Emma Starr. Emma Starr ran the 100 meters earlier. So this is the distance runner versus the sprinter, Tom. This is the classic. This is why I love the 400 as well. You get the miler and you get the 100-meter runner, and they find a common ground and a race.
Yeah, pretty much any style runner could be a big contributor to this event.
100-meter runners and 2 milers can all run this. So you can look at the sprinter closing the gap here. That's going to make it exciting on this anchor. Because Emma Starr closing the gap a little bit on the Hillers. So still Hopkinton. And then a little bit less than what we saw after the second exchange. Third exchange. Yeah, still about 10 meters back. And that's Taya Stucci from Holliston. She got second in the 800. And that sun is brutal. But that's Klein. That's Klein for the Hillers. So Stucci closing the gap. 200 to go here in the girls 4x4. Again, last running event. Stucci down now to 2 meters. Stucci coming up on the shoulder of the Hillers runner. This is why I love the 4x4. It's Stucci, the Holliston athlete, and Klein, the Hopkinton anchor. Is Stucci going to have one more gear? It looks like the Hillers are going to hold on. Hopkinton holds on in the girls 4x4. Very exciting, though. Klein holds on, and Stucci made it very exciting, closed that gap, but didn't quite have that last gear to get by.
Yeah, it was a great race. It's back and forth the whole way.
I mean, the whole way, exactly. And then we got one more finisher here on the girls 4x4, and then we'll move on to our boys 4x4. Last boys running events of the evening. Again, just want to thank everybody for joining us here. Second dual meet of the year for both Hopkinton and Holliston here in outdoor track. And this has been an exciting one. Weather has held up nicely. I know it looks a lot nicer than it actually is out here. It's very cold. It's very windy. But no wetness, no rain, no snow. which is important. Yeah, for sure. The sun is about to go down. We're about to lose it, which means we're going to lose whatever heat we had. Still a little breezy out here. We still, like Tom just mentioned, we have the discus still going on. We have the high jump still going on. But one more running event up on the track. We will have the boys 4x4. And on our start list, we actually have 2 heats listed here. Hopkinton have 6 teams entered, and Holliston has 1 team entered. And if I'm seeing this correctly, it looks like maybe they scratched down, so maybe just to 1 heat. But we'll see once they start here what we're looking at. Final heat of the boys. So here's the boys 4x4. We have 2 Hopkinton teams and 1 Holliston team. For Hopkinton A, we've got McNally leading off. For Holliston A, we've got Hebert. And for Hopkinton B, we have Spinelli. And my apologies if I have the legs wrong here. Sometimes they will swap legs since they put in these sheets. But if I can make a correction, I will.
Come on, Zach! Zach, keep going! Keep going!
So with the stagger, this one is going to be a close one. Again, watch the handoff there. Pretty close. Hopkinton and then Holliston. About a 10, 15 meter gap there between the two.
Again, folks, we're trying to give you the best view possible, but that sun not doing us any favors.
Yeah, the sun now getting worse by the minute. And then it looks like in about 10 minutes it'll be completely gone, but of course we will as well because the meet will be over. But here we are, leg 2 of the first heat in the boys 4x4. Hopkinton now extending their lead to about 20 meters over Holliston. So Hopkinton there, the exchange extends their lead now up to about 30 meters or so. This is the third leg. And it does look like we're going to have a second heat of this, of the boys 4x4. So we'll keep the camera on after this one. It'll be an all Hopkinton heat. So we'll make sure to capture that as well. As Hopkinton extends their lead even more here on the third leg. The third leg here handing off to the anchor. 2:53 there at the anchor. And Holliston hands off to their anchor. It looks like Max Harrington sporting his plaid shirt there. Max, of course, won the 800 earlier. But I don't think even with his strength and speed, when you're down almost 90 meters, he's going to make that up here on the anchor. But we see all the strength today that Hopkinton has across all the events. And obviously very clear here in the boys 4x4. And my assumption is this is probably not even the A team for Hopkinton. And they're still well under 4 minutes here at about 3:50 there for the Hopkinton boys. And this is Max Harrington. And the wave there at the finish line for Holliston. And the Panther senior there finishes up right at 4:06. And then we have the B team for Hopkinton. And there's Hopkinton's B team, 4:24. Now we can officially say one more race. So final heat. This will be heat 2 of 2 in the boys 4x4. We'll see how many brave souls we get making their way onto the track as it continues to get cold out here at Hopkinton High School. Right now, my phone's saying 37 degrees in Hopkinton. Feels like 25. I think the feels like is the key number there.
Yeah, the events towards the end got to be a bit tough in this cold. Really just trying to stay loose and ready to go, especially if you raced earlier in the meet and then you got to race at the end.
It does, and I think, especially with younger athletes, high school athletes, the tendency is they get done a race and they just want to go sit down and they want to chat with their friends. Really, they should be moving and being warm and warming up properly for the second event. It just, Tom, it doesn't always happen. They end up sitting there and they're chatting too long and they're like, oh, I got to race in 5 minutes. And then they jump up and they run. So what happened, they run sometimes a little bit cold, so that you're not going to see sometimes the best performances out of the second race.
Right. You got to keep stretching out there and stay loose.
For sure, yeah. And the wind's still gusting. Let's see here. 12 miles per hour, gusts up to 26. Still now. So yeah, still very breezy here. As we get ready for our final heat and our final race on the track out here at the Hopkinton Holliston dual meet.
These events at the end are always fun because you get a lot of the athletes who are done for the day cheering on their teammates.
Absolutely. You also get athletes in the 4x4 like we saw the 100-meter runners. You're going to get athletes from all events. I mean, I've seen shot putters put together a 4x4 and they come out and they run a 4x4 at the end to finish up the meet. So it's a fun event to finish with for sure.
Well, they're getting ready for the next heat. We've been able to watch some of the high jump, and I believe they're wrapping up the high jump. They might have a couple more jumps left here.
Yeah, and you can see, I mean, look at the officials there in the yellow jackets. Just say they're 5'10", let's say. So, this probably is 5'8", somewhere in there,
Yeah, this is a big one. They moved the stick up, so this is a high jump here.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I watched at one of the TVL Last Chance meets indoors, I watched one of the Hopkinton kids clear 6'4", so I know Hopkinton has some good high jumpers. But this looks like a red jersey of Holliston here,
Yes.
correct?
Yeah. Oh, almost made it.
Yeah. Good attempt there. I believe that's Cam Rokas from Holliston. It's a sophomore.
Looks like we have a Hiller.
Not sure what the holdup is. Maybe they're trying to wait for the sun to go down for this last section. They want to run in the dark. They haven't turned the lights on, so they're pretty confident we're going to get out of here.
Yeah, it very well could be the sun because the sunlight towards the end of the track here was right in your face.
So there's Rokas from Holliston back up on the high jump apron there. Well, without the boards, we're just speculating. Maybe 5'6", maybe 5'8", somewhere in there. Ooh, that was a closer one. Rokas almost had it. His first attempt, he hit it with his back. That one was definitely his leg, so he was almost over.
What do you get, 2 attempts, 3 attempts?
You get 3 attempts per height, yeah. Basically, yeah. You can pass and you can go up a height, but at the end of the day, it's based on what clearances you have over the heights.
Right.
So even though you keep passing up heights, if you don't clear anything, it goes off what your best clearance was on the day.
Right. So far, I think we're 0 for 4 at this height.
And here we go. Heat 2 of 2, final race of the day here. This is the boys 4x4. On the start sheets, it was 4 Hopkinton teams. I'm counting 3 now. So we'll see what we have here.
Cleared it.
Oh, and Rokas over. Also love to see that. And then his teammates just swarm him with excitement.
Let's see if the Hillers can do it. Then we'll take you to the race.
Absolutely, yeah. But I think we leave the camera down there on the high jump. It's rare you see this much excitement over the high jump, but it's pretty awesome, yeah.
There's a big height here, not easy to clear.
Again, also we're being warm, like plays in, right? I mean, it's getting colder. You're standing out there on the high jump apron. Here we go on that. Oh.
A little short there.
I think that was his third and final attempt.
I believe it was.
So what they'll do now, if there's only one competitor left, they'll go back to that competitor, and he or she will be able to choose what height the high jump goes up to, if they're the last competitor.
Now, does he have to do it other way? Could you say, you know what, I'm good with that?
No, he can be done. Yeah, he can just go home. But a lot of times when you're hot,
right?
You know, you mean like you gotta strike while the iron is hot. So sometimes you'll try for a PB. You know, doesn't matter what the conditions are. If you're feeling it, you'll go for it.
Well, the good news is the sun has set a little bit. Well, it's still kind of there, but it's a lot better than it was.
It definitely helps with the shot for sure. Yes, correct. And it helps us see the track.
Looks like they are putting the high jump back up, so.
All right, so what they'll do, and then they'll get the measuring tape out, they'll measure it from the middle, they'll make sure it's accurate, and then they'll raise it to whatever height the final competitor wants it to go to.
So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll turn back towards the high jump if we see any action.
So this will be the final leg, and you notice the pink cap there of Mr. Finnegan, who was third in the 2 mile.
Move action down there, high jump attempt.
Okay, and Rokas, that's his first attempt at the new height. Trying to get an update from one of the coaches down there to see what the height is at right now. But this is the anchor legs here for the final section of the boys 4x4. So Finnegan here with just over 100 meters to go. See that pink hat there.
It certainly stands out.
It certainly does stand out, yes. The bright yellow New Balance spikes and the pink hat definitely make them stand out. 4:11 there unofficially. And Rokas is back up on the high jump. So he's back up on the apron for attempt number 2. Ooh, just caught that one. That was close, yeah.
That was close.
I'm going to have to assume this is some sort of PB for Rokas. He goes back to his teammates. He gets some coverage, maybe try and warm up for one final attempt here in the high jump.
On the last height, the third time was the charm, so.
That's yeah, so let's see. Maybe he's got one more big leap in him.
see, did the race finish?
And yeah, the 4x4 just finished up.
I was so concentrated on the high jump, I didn't realize it. Here we go. Looks like he's going in for another attempt.
Here we go. Third and final attempt for Cam Rokas in the high jump, the sophomore from Holliston. I think has already won the competition, but trying for a new personal best for sure. Yeah. Oh, just caught it with his rear there. Good attempt there for Rokas.
I think on a warmer day he would have got it.
I think so for sure.
All right. Well,
And that was 5:10, so that was final attempt. One of the coaches just texted me back, said that attempt was 5:10 for Rokas, so cleared probably 5:8 or 5:6 like we thought, but takes it again. I wanted to thank everybody for coming out today. We'll get you some of the latest scores. On the boys' side, Hopkinton with 95. So this is 14 of 16 events. Still two events to score. Hopkinton with 95, Holliston with 23. And on the girls' side, the Hopkinton girls definitely had some strong last few events. Hopkinton with 90, Holliston with 46, and that's 16 of 16 events. So that concludes the girls' side. The girls are all done. And I believe the boys still probably have to score the 4x4. Let's take a look here. Nope, they've scored the 4x4. They're probably still waiting on the high jump, which hasn't come in, and possibly the discus would be the last thing. But yeah, again, wanted to thank you, Tom, for having me as a guest.
It was our pleasure to have you broadcast this event today. It was terrific.
Yes, I want to thank you again, and thanks for joining us here. This Hopkinton and Holliston dual meet out here on this beautiful day at Hopkinton High School. Again, April 7, 2026. Yes, hopefully we'll see you guys along the way here. Lots more outdoor track and lots of other sports to enjoy this season.
Yeah, absolutely, and we may have some coverage of the TVLs. We'll see how that goes, but in any case, Andy, thank you so much, and we want to thank all of you who tuned in, but that's just about going to do it. Any final thoughts?
No, it was just another, some great performances. I'm excited to see, watch them early on, and then we see them later on in the TVL showcase and some of the divisional meets. You'll really start to see some performances come. So thank you again, everybody, for having me join, and have a good night.
All right, thank you so much, Andy. And just a reminder, folks, we'll have some of the earlier races that we unfortunately couldn't get on the live stream. We'll have those available later on tonight or early tomorrow. But that's going to do it for our coverage here today. We thank you for watching Hopkinton Hillers Track and Field on HCAM. A big thank you to Andy Downing for his great commentary here today. But thank you for joining us. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your night. We'll talk to you again soon. Goodbye, everybody.